All right, here we go. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now, live here on Chat Sports. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you as always for making today's show a part of your day. We go live here on the program every single Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, and there's so much to get to here on the show today. Eagles training camp stars. We're going to look ahead at what a DeVonta Smith contract extension might look like, training camp takeaways, and I'm going to explain why the Dallas Cowboys are going to suck here in 2023. We have 33 people already watching live. As all of you come in here, please make sure you hit that thumbs up icon to support the show. Therefore, more people will find the show here on YouTube. And here's the official show rundown here. Latest training camp news, Eagles training camp stars, DeVonta Smith contract extension, and why the Dallas Cowboys will be a disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, preseason football returns for Philadelphia next weekend against the Baltimore Ravens. If you're excited for the Birds this year, because the season is pretty much already here, spam E down in the comment section. E for the E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles! Couple of real ones here already. Elijah Stovall, losing hope. Brandon Ford, Captain Colt. We have Joe hanging out. Ernesto, cash owner. Joe is also here. Cannot wait for the Philadelphia Eagles to get back in action for preseason football next weekend. That also means the return of some watch parties here. Michael Baldwin, Uzziah, Brandon, Lore, Elijah, Paul, John, all in the chat. Remember, continue to support the show by hitting that thumbs up icon and liking the video. So earlier today, some training camp news, training camp takeaways, a little bit of an injury scare at the NovaCare complex this morning as the Eagles had, once again, a padded practice. Nakobe Dean was not with the first team or second team defense. He was on the sideline without a helmet, though. And he went into the injury tent. Not sure what the severity of that injury is. Not sure what specifically that ailment is. A team spokesperson did say, quote, "He is fine." But because he was out for practice today, a player who does need to prove himself going into the season, Christian Ellis and Nicholas Morrow were the starting linebackers. We're going to continue to keep you in the know with everything going down on the injury front for the Eagles. Up to this point, they've been relatively healthy. Now we're coming to you emanating live from the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas, Texas. Enemy territory, but I get to walk around the city with this shirt and say, F the Cowboys, go Birds! So where are you watching from? I know that we have people literally tuned in from all across the globe. For those of you just joining the show, I'm Chase Sr., producer Trizzy Chase is also here. Elijah, losing hope, still pacing that chat. Where are you all watching from? I want to see where everybody's tapped in from. Joe is in New Jersey, Mike Jr. in Virginia, John Haran, Delco. Yo, Delco, what up, dude? Cash owner is in Rochester, Uzziah, Colorado, Brandon Ford, the legend, Garland, Texas, Ernesto, Tucson, Arizona, L. Edwards is in Jersey, Huntsville, Alabama, Morrisville from Johnny Colum, Larry Bailey is in Ohio, losing hope, Connecticut, originally from New Jersey. He already got his Jason Kelce Kelly Green jersey. I saw him in the comment section on Eagles Now. My Kelly Green Eagles jersey for Jason Kelce is not scheduled to get to me until November. I am irate, I am in shambles, and I simply don't understand how that is possible. Originally from PA, from Bill. Robert is in Philly, upstate New York from Bill Dombrowski. New Hampshire, Beaumont, Texas is also in the crib. Nolan Smith, let's spend a few moments talking about him. The number 30 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft has had a very good training camp up to this point, and today got run with the first team defense at off-ball linebacker. He's really flashed so far as a pass rusher. He's been very good with that elite first step and that bend to help him get that leverage coming around the corner. He's had quarterback pressures, would-be sacks. He's forced some turnovers already, but today, showing off his versatility that he showed at Georgia when he was playing a little off-ball linebacker with that first team. Of course, this could have happened because Nakobe Dean was out, but if Nolan Smith can give the Eagles that type of versatility, he's just simply going to see the field a little bit more this upcoming season. He's had a stellar camp for a rookie. Really excited to see what Nolan Smith is going to be able to do. Losing hope, getting us kicked off with the $2 super chat. Yes, I did. Peep the background of the photo. Oh, he's got the newborn on the Kelly Green Eagles jersey. That is incredible right there. As we know, Losing Hope, one of the legends here on the show. And the other week he sent me, as I asked him to do, the sleeve tattoo that he has that is all Philly themed. And I told him that I would show it on the show. Here it is right here. Look how sweet this thing is, man. He's got Gritty, the Fanatic on there. He already got his Kelly Green jersey. He's one of our real ones here on the program, a.k.a. Real Johns. And now he has the newborn. Here we go. We could pop it up to become a larger photo thanks to Trizzy Trace. The newborn baby with the Kelly Green jersey in the background. That's got to be a Jason Kelce jersey, right? I'm seeing the 2 on the right side. I'm pretty sure your baby is over the 6. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks really, really nice. Also looks like you went with the $170 jersey as the Eagle stitched on the sleeve there. I wasn't sure how much of a difference there was, so I actually went with the $110 option. We'll see if it's going to end up being a ripoff. I have a Brian Dawkins authentic, but just needed to get my hands on that Kelly Green jersey. So Losing Hope, thanks for getting us started with that $2 donation. Certainly appreciate that. Billy the Birdman Bolden Chase, look, I'm back, man. I got my name back. Billy the Birdman Bolden. Use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get featured here on the show. And I'm telling you what, we have a great, and I mean great, Super Chat menu that we're about to show you here in just a couple of moments. We're also going to explain why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a disaster this upcoming season. So that's going to be our third segment of the program today. If you want to rip the Cowboys in the chat, you want to get featured on the show by making fun of one of the most laughable organizations in all of sports, a team that we all hate, use hashtag FDallas, say whatever you want, and at the end of that segment in which I explain with some analytics, numbers, stats, trends, analysis, why the Cowboys are not going to be good this year, we will get all of those questions, all of those hot takes, all of those comments, all of those funny comments featured on that segment. Get them in right now using hashtag FDallas. Here is our Super Chat menu. If you send us in a $5 Super Chat, we're going to ring the Liberty Bell. $10. Philadelphia is a blue-collar city. We are gritty. We are tough. Does anything exemplify that more than a metal lunch pail? The Philadelphia Eagles are in training camp getting that work in. We're getting that work in as well. So what I did, I got with the Chat Sports bosses, Mitchell Renz here. I ordered a metal lunch pail. We're going to put an Eagles logo on that. And anybody who sends in a $10 Super Chat on today's show, your initials will go on this sticker. We'll put it on the lunch pail. I'm going to bring beers in that lunch pail to work. We're going to get it a little bit banged up throughout the preseason, using that as a little bit of a drum. And then at some point when we get it all filled up, we're going to send it away to one of our Super Chat MVPs. So a $10 Super Chat, your initials go on the lunch pail. As soon as I get that, should be here any day now. We're going to put your initials on that lunch pail. $20 Super Chat, Jason Kelce beer pour, meaning you just got to take a big swig of a beer. For a $50 Super Chat, shotgun or a beer bong, but let me also throw this out there. If we get a $50 Super Chat, I will do my first beer bet here on the show as well, and we're going to knock it out of the park. And if we get to $300 in total Super Chats on today's show, because the regular season, the preseason right around the corner, we could talk about some actual football here. People are juiced up. I will do an extra segment in which I answer all of your questions. Lion Fighter with the $5 Super Chat, so I dig into my bag of tricks. And we got to ring the Liberty Bell here. LFX, LFX, LFX. Real John Roll Call. F Dallas, F Dallas, F Dallas. You love to see it. You love to hear it. That right there, our Super Chat menu. If you want to donate to the show, let's get it. We're going to be talking birds all throughout the day. All right, another reminder what we have coming up on the show here today. Latest training camp news. Eagles training camp stars. We kind of already checked off that first box to myself and Trizzy's right. We're going to start off with Eagles training camp stars. DeVonta Smith extension. What could it look like? When could it come down the pipeline? And why the Dallas Cowboys will be a disaster. I see a lot of comments already coming in on F Dallas. That's good stuff right there. I'm seeing Brandon Ford, Cash Owner, Captain Colt Animation. Good stuff. We appreciate that support here on the show. More training camp news here. Tyler Steen getting second-team reps at left tackle, and then the newly signed Dennis Kelly playing a little bit of left guard, and then the seventh-round pick from 2021 out of Tulane, linebacker Patrick Johnson, having a really good camp. He made this 53-man roster last year that is certainly a name to watch as we progress here in training camp. And Kelee Ringo, this team's fourth-round pick, who did not sign until a couple of weeks ago, but Philadelphia moved up in order to get him. In an 11-on-11 drill today, he did almost pick off Jalen Hurts. So a lot of the rookies here performing well early in training camp. And you look at this Eagles draft class. A part of the reason why the Eagles are as good as they are right now, they're young, they're affordable, and they continue to restack the cupboard. If Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Kelee Ringo, Sidney Brown all end up being really good players for this football team, they're just going to continue to be competitive for many years to come because Howie Roseman's been in his bag, and him and the front office personnel have done a really good job of developing and identifying talent. All right, if you love the Kelly Greens, the Kelly Green jerseys are fresh. We showed you the Super Chat a little bit earlier from Losing Hope. If you think that they're fresh and you want to start the show, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. 74 people watching live, 32 likes up to this point. We'll show you the Super Chat menu one more time. If any Super Chats come in during this first upcoming segment, we'll certainly answer those after this upcoming segment because we got to give you the greatest content here covering the birds on YouTube. $5, ring the Liberty Bell. $10, your initials go on the metal lunch pail. $20, a Jason Kelsey beer pour. $50, shotgun beer bong. But if we get one in during this segment, I'm doing this beer bat here. And if we get the $300 in total, an extra segment for the Fly Eagles Fly family. Without further ado, we're about to start the official show right now. All right, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior, and on the slate for today's program, top 5 Philadelphia Eagles training camp breakout stars up to this point. But before we get started, we are a week away from the return of Eagles preseason football. Can you believe it? So if you're excited for Eagles-Ravens, and we're going to be doing a watch party for it right here on Eagles Now, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Training camp star number 1, a pretty obvious name in my opinion because Nolan Smith has had it going all the way back to rookie minicamp and OTAs because his athleticism has been so impressive and on display to start training camp. He's gotten first-team reps at edge as well as an off-ball linebacker. He's played a couple of different roles, and the versatility that he showed at Georgia could really help him get on the field early as a rookie, as a blitzer and that off-ball linebacker in passing situations, running situations, but also just being able to get after the quarterback, but also defend the pass in that off-ball type of situation. His quickness off the edge has been breathtaking. That first step is elite, and the dip move around the corner has allowed him to generate quarterback pressures, would-be sacks, and it's led to a couple of turnovers against the opposing offense. And coming out of Georgia, some people thought that Nolan Smith was going to be a little bit undersized. I raved about his athleticism. Everybody looked at 6'2", 238, and they thought that he was a little bit undersized. You look at the relative athletic score here, it's basically scaling athletes from 1 to 10. Nolan Smith in the green overall, a 9.23 score. He's green everywhere outside of his height and weight, but that height and weight, very similar to Hassan Reddick, very similar to Von Miller. What I look at is the vertical of 41.5 inches, the great broad jump, and then at that size of at 238 pounds, he ran a 40-yard dash sub 4.40. And so far, that speed has been on display, and it's allowed him to really get in that backfield to cause some problems. Training camp star number 2, Cam Jurgens. And this is really a good development for Philadelphia because on the show today, we're talking about a lot of young players. So Howie Roseman has really been able to replenish the cupboard with a lot of young players who are affordable, and he's done a great job of identifying talent over the last couple of drafts. Nolan Smith appears to be one. Hopefully he works out, and then Cam Jurgens figures to be another. It always helps when you have the best offensive line coach in the NFL in Jeff Stoutland. Now, we have Cam Jurgens listed as a center because that was what he was drafted to be. But that brings me to my point on today's show. He started every practice at right guard. He's been in the competition with Tyler Steen. Not much of a competition, though, because it's been Cam Jurgens who's been to the right of Jason Kelce and to the left of Lane Johnson as the Isaac Seumalo replacement. He's drawn praise from Jason Kelce. In my opinion, the best center of all time. I already had to cop his Kelly Green number 62 jersey. Cam Jurgens was a little bit lighter last year. He's added the necessary weight to play right guard and does have that athleticism on those pull blocks to get out to that second level in that run game. And the Eagles' offensive line depth chart, this unit, the best in the NFL last year. They only had to use 6 starters. They were very, very healthy. Hopefully that's the same case, because if that is the case, they can duplicate their success from last year. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson. What a front for the Birds. Now, the Kelly Green jerseys, I think that they're icy. I've continued to say I think they're the nicest jerseys in all of sports, definitely in the NFL. I want to know, though, did you get a Kelly Green jersey yet? If so, type me. If not, we have them available here. All you have to do is plug in that link down below, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. We have people literally watching from every pocket of America, but also all across the globe. So a lot of you earlier this week, you went to the pro shop in New Jersey, Lincoln Financial Field, the one in Lancaster, and you were able to pick up a Kelly Green jersey. If you want to order it because you're not in the vicinity to go to the Eagles pro shop, you can get them down below, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. I already ordered my Jason Kelce jersey, as I said, and one of our loyal viewers, Losing Hope with Humanity, just had a baby a few months ago. He also ordered his Kelly Green jersey, put the baby on the Kelly Green jersey. He already got his in the mail. Appreciate Losing Hope for supporting the show. Beautiful kid that you have there. Beautiful jersey as well. Jalen Carter also popping out as a training camp star up to this point. You have the number 30th overall pick in Nolan Smith, your second-round pick from last year in Cam Jurgens out of Nebraska, and your number 9 overall pick here in Jalen Carter. Evaluating him up to this point, his power as a rookie, very, very noticeable. Jason Kelce had a quote last week where he could physically feel, even though he didn't have to block Jalen Carter, a Jalen Carter bull rush. He has the offensive line holding on for dear life. During a practice on Thursday, Brett Toth was thrown to the ground by Jalen Carter. For him to do that as a rookie is a good sign to come, because he's only going to continue to get stronger and more acclimated with the NFL game. But coming out of Georgia, the size, speed, strength, versatility was really an impressive trait or traits for him. He can win with finesse because of the speed. I've seen him track down quarterbacks. I've seen him run down running backs. On bubble screens to wide receiver on the outside at Georgia, he was able to tackle wide receivers out there. That's how freaky of an athlete he is, and his presence is felt anytime he's on the field. He doesn't have to contribute with sacks in order for him to be felt and his presence and his impact to be noticed on the defensive side of the ball, because he's always going to demand attention. And speaking of demanding attention, he's going to demand attention all across that defensive line. At least that's my hope for defensive coordinator Sean Desai, who is going to run a multiple scheme. He's a Vic Fangio disciple, learned how Vic Fangio called the game of football, and both of those defensive coordinators, they use 3-4 fronts, they use 4-3 fronts. At Georgia, Jalen Carter lined up on the A-gap 30 times, over tackle 83, B-gap primarily because, yes, he is a traditional defensive tackle 255 times, outside tackle 20 times. I hope that Desai uses him in this similar manner because he can exploit some mismatches along that opposing offensive line. Now, this is why you should subscribe to the show. I think what we do here on Eagles Now is incredibly unique. We involve the audience more than any other YouTube channel out there. We give you thought-provoking analysis, opinions, news, rumors, all that. So if you haven't subscribed, you simply ain't alive because we give you daily shows on the birds, training camp reactions over the last couple of weeks, news, rumors, and analysis, live shows every week. We're currently live right now every Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, and watch parties are back next weekend for Ravens-Eagles. Hit that sub button, fly Eagles fly, go Birds. Let's move forward with this list. So we talked about 3 young players here so far, and A.J. Brown's only in his mid-20s. Yes, he's still technically young, but he's been in the league for a minute. You could classify him as a veteran. He is having an incredible training camp so far. And you know what's great? The connection last year between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown was lethal, and so far in training camp, it's once again been unstoppable. Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown has been one of the more impressive and ongoing storylines every single practice during Eagles training camp so far. And Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown, that connection, it's developing into one of the best and most lethal quarterback wide receiver duos in the National Football League. You had Jalen Hurts, who finished runner-up in MVP voting last year, and A.J. Brown, who had arguably one of the best single seasons for a wide receiver in franchise history. He broke the record for the most receiving yards in a season for Philadelphia with nearly 1,500 yards. He was targeted 145 times for 88 grabs, 11 touchdowns, and 17 yards per catch. A.J. Brown is the closest thing to Terrell Owens that we've ever seen for this football team because of the physique, the physicality, the finesse, ability to pull away from defenders, break tackles, catch 50-50 balls. He is a complete wide receiver and a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And let's talk about his running mate, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, DeVonta Smith might be his running mate, but so too is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a great preseason and training camp last year. He might be even better in training camp this year. If we're going to discuss who's been a star for the Eagles throughout training camp so far, Jalen Hurts has to be in that conversation. He's pretty much been flawless in camp up to this point. Up until Thursday, he has not thrown an interception yet. Where at this point, it's a surprise if Jalen Hurts throws an incompletion. Accuracy, timing, anticipation, sideline throws, deep shots, throws at all 3 levels, short, intermediate, long. Jalen Hurts has been able to do all of that, and that's not even including when he gets into game action, when he can be a running threat as well. It's kind of crazy to think that Jalen Hurts could become better in 2023 than he was in 2022, but that's totally plausible this upcoming season. Honorable mentions here. Joseph Nagata, the wide receiver, UDFA out of Clemson, big-bodied, get-up-and-get-it type of guy. He's had a really good camp. Josh Joby is on that second-team defense as an outside corner. He's also on the first-team kick-blocking unit, UDFA last year, who made the team out of Alabama. It looks as though if he's able to stay healthy, he can make the 53 this year as well and be that developmental outside corner. Sidney Brown, the 3rd-round pick out of Illinois at safety. He's been getting some first-team reps from time to time because Terrell Edmunds out at practice at moments this week. And then Dallas Cowboys. No linebacker, no defensive back has been able to really stop him in one-on-ones or during team drills. He's never going to put up the numbers of a Travis Kelce because he's more of a blocker than Travis Kelce. But Dallas Cowboys, don't get it twisted. He's one of the best all-around tight ends in the NFL. I think he's number 2 behind George Kittle, who last year wasn't all-pro, and Dallas Cowboys has all-pro potential. I want to see the Eagles utilize him a little bit more in the red zone because last year their red zone offense, actually, if you looked at the numbers, we've breaking it down here on the show, did struggle a little bit. All right, so 5 stars in training camp for Philadelphia and a few honorable mentions. Who's your top breakout star? Anybody that I talked about? Somebody that I missed? That's why we have you to get into the comment section right now. All right, we're off to a great start. Thanks to everybody who's here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. 1 segment down, 2 to go. And if we get the $300 in Super Chats, we're going to do a bonus segment as well. 100 people watching live, 54 likes. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. My own perspective, who's currently backing up Jason Kelce right now? I think it's Cameron Tom is the backup behind Kelce, but ideally, and actually, it would be Cam Jurgens. Yes, he's starting at right guard, right? But if Jason Kelce were to get hurt, Jurgens would then slide to center, and then you have a couple of options who could fill that right guard spot, a Brett Toth, a Dennis Kelly, who got some second-team left guard reps today. So depth along this Eagles offensive line, a little bit of a concern. But let's go back to this. Who's your top breakout star here? I'm looking for some names in the comments section here. Izzy B saying hello. What's up, Izzy?
What's up, Izzle?
Cool Rain saying Nakobe Dean. Billy the Birdman Bolden. Jalen Hurts. Are any other zero numbers in the NFL from Dennis Designs? Yeah, there's a couple of other zeros. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, the 0 for Philadelphia. Dennis Design saying, hey, Izzy B. My own perspective saying, thank you. No, brother. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Trizzy, let's bring you on the show. How you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good. Football's back.
Yes.
It's an Eagles Now Thursday. There literally could not be a better way to spend my day today.
No.
Hanging out with the Pocket Aces, getting to hang out with the Bird Gang. It's just nothing better. Nothing better than it.
I really want to do this beer bat right here,
I
I
really
will do it for a $50 Super Chat. So, Trace, let's pop up the Super Chat menu once again. We're up to $7 in Super Chats. We had one come in from LFX. The other came in from Losing Hope with Humanity. You send us in a Super Chat. $5, we ring the Liberty Bell. $10, your initials go on the lunch pail. The thought process behind that is Philadelphia is a blue-collar city. The Eagles are a gritty team. What's grittier than a lunch pail going to work with that lunch pail? Like the Eagles are going to work at training camp right now. So we'll get your initials on the lunch pail. $20 a Jason Kelce beer pour, $50 for a shotgun beer bong or this beer bat. And if we get the 300 total, we'll do an extra segment in which you can ask me anything and I'll answer your questions.
We can also get the Freedom Funnel out, too.
We could get that out as well.
DeAdrian
Hawthorne, I believe his name is. DeAdrian, either way. Remember him? We have to actually send that to him because he got my Instagram DMs, and I was like, wait, do you still want this, bro? And he's like, yeah. So we actually do have to send that to our guy, DeAdrian.
We got to order a new one for the season.
Going to have to order a new one. Lore says Dallas Goedert, his standout star so far. So that's good stuff right there. Yeah, Goddard has been very, very impressive in training camp up to this point. Segment number 2. We're going to look ahead here a little bit. And we're going to talk about DeVonta Smith. Could a contract extension be in the works at some point? We checked off box number 1. We checked off box number 2. Still to come, DeVonta Smith contract extension and why Dallas will be a disaster. I can't wait for that segment. If you want to get featured on that segment, you want to have an opportunity to bash the Dallas Cowboys, make fun of that organization, this is how you do it. Use hashtag FDallas to blast the Cowboys, and we'll get those comments featured on the show here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. What are you doing over there? Oh, here we go. How about them Cowboys? F them. How about them? F them. That's what we have to say. Izzy B saying, guys, make Chase work. Super Chat. I'm a little bit surprised at the lack of Super Chats up to this point, given how successful the last couple of live shows have gone. But maybe people are just getting geared up for that preseason game. Who knows? But, okay, coming up next, DeVonta Smith contract extension. When could it happen? What could it look like? And why might Philadelphia decide to pay a guy who's off to a great start in his NFL career? That's coming up next here on Eagles Now. Thanks to everybody who's here. All of you who are piling into the show, continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Coming your way on today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're going to look ahead at a potential DeVonta Smith contract extension. Also, I cooked up 10 key storylines from Eagles training camp. Now, when you look ahead at a potential DeVonta Smith deal, here's why it could happen. Here's why we have to continue to talk about it and look ahead. Because all great businesses, whether it's in the NFL or if it's in the actual business world, always plan for the future. And we know Howie Roseman, very intelligent because he's like that. Smith is entering year 3. And since he was a first-round pick, the Eagles have the option to exercise his 5th-year option after this year. What that means is that if the Philadelphia Eagles exercise that fifth-year option, DeVonta Smith would then be under team control through 2026. So this year, next year, and then the year after that as well, Smitty, a.k.a. Skinny Batman, would be on this team for the foreseeable future. If the Eagles do not exercise that fifth-year option, and there's really no reason for them not to other than them paying a little bit more money to Smith in that year 5 as compared to what they're paying him in year 4, next year would be the final year of his deal, and you already know there will be rumblings about a DeVonta Smith contract extension. You look at the Eagles' offensive spending, and right now they can afford to pay Smith down the road a pretty lofty deal because they are 22nd among 32 teams in the NFL in wide receiver spending at $22.8 million. Their entire offense, surprisingly, is 25th in the NFL at a total of $99 million because Jalen Hurts' contract extension has not kicked in yet. The Eagles are paying their quarterbacks combined 24th. Offensive line, that's the unit they like to invest in, 10th. Tight end 17th, running back 23rd at a total of $7 million. That's very savvy from a team-building approach for a position that's expendable and replaceable. Defensive spending here. This doesn't really impact DeVonta Smith, but I want to show it to you because we're talking about giving Smith a lot of money, which could alter the Eagles' approach for players that they do pay or don't pay. All defense 26 at $89.4 million. Defensive line 17th. Linebacker and safety, 31st and 32nd in the NFL. So clearly Howie Roseman feels as though many more positions of importance outside of linebacker and safety. He does like cornerbacks, though, 8th. A.J. Brown's contract. This is also important to talk about here because you look at the base salary in 2025 and in 2026. This contract, which was done upon trading for A.J. Brown on draft night 2 years ago, was backloaded by Howie Roseman. That's a tactic that oftentimes he takes because it allows the Eagles to have some financial flexibility in the immediacy of the moment, backload those deals, and worry about it later when you can restructure that contract and do a couple of different things to free up the cash flow. This year, A.J. Brown has a base salary of $1 million. His cap hit, only $8.5 million. If he has a season like he did last year, that's an incredible bargain. In 2024, $1.1 million base salary. Cap hit goes up $4 million. In 2025, though, 15.2, 26.5, and in 2026, 30.2, 41.5. That's really, really high. And at that point, he's going to be a little bit older. If he gets injured, production goes down. That's a lot of money to pay a wide receiver, even though A.J. Brown's still going to be somewhat young at that juncture of his career. What they can do with a DeVonta Smith contract extension, you're thinking, well, if you're paying A.J. Brown all that money in 2025, 2026, that's about when the DeVonta Smith contract will come into play. Are they going to have to choose one or the other? They can do with a Smitty extension what they did with an A.J. Brown extension. They can backload it like they did with A.J., so you're not paying both of these players a lot of money at the same time, and then it's difficult to have both. Financial gymnastics. That is a masterclass in being a general manager from Howie Roseman. And you know Howie will try to finesse that A.J. Brown deal to clear up some money for Philadelphia. Today's poll question is this. Do you want Skinny Batman, a.k.a. Smitty, to be a lifetime Eagle? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. That'll be our pinned comment, so make sure you go on down and get those comments in. Kelly Green jerseys are also here. We've had so many people use our link all throughout this week because they're trying to get their hands on these icy uniforms. All you have to do to join the party, to join the movement, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. All players available, sizes available, men's, women's, kids, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. I use that link to get myself a Jason Kelce jersey. DeVonta Smith's first 2 years. What a start he's gotten off to. He had a record-breaking rookie season for all players in franchise history. 104 targets, 64 catches, 916 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then in year 2, as the Eagles decided to air it out a little bit more, he became an even better player, and the production in turn did go up. 136 targets, 95 catches. So his production as far as catching the football went up by 31, nearly 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, 12.5 yards. He was probably the best number 2 wideout in the NFL, but has number 1 wideout written all over him. And here's why. Really crisp route runner. He has excellent footwork, very reliable hands where he doesn't really drop a lot of footballs. He's so slippery in the open field where he can make guys miss and surprisingly break some tackles. I like the versatility to his game because he can play outside or in the slot. The sideline catches are extremely elite for DeVonta Smith. He also has great body control, plays a lot bigger than his size, excels with those contested catches. And when you're building a football team with some young players, what do you look for? You look for good character. You look for a guy who's going to grind. He has a good personality that's contagious. I love his demeanor. I love his work ethic. I tweeted out the other day, his footwork drill, it's insane how fast his footwork was. And this is a guy who loves to get in the lab to improve his craft. I kind of want to compare the trajectory for DeVonta Smith to the trajectory of Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers. I think both of these players are very similar. Footwork, route running where they can cross you over like Allen Iverson back in the day. They're goal line to goal line players. They're not just used inside the 20 or from the 20 to the 20. Their usage and role in their respective offenses is also very similar because Brandon Ayuk is not the number 1 option on the Niners. Kyle Shanahan likes to use Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, sometimes more than Brandon Ayuk. And in this Eagles offense, sometimes DeVonta Smith isn't always the first option. But you look at Ayuk's rise here. He got better and better and better every year that he's been in the NFL. What San Francisco did, they exercised his 5th-year option, and I think the Eagles are going to do the same by exercising the 5th-year option for DeVonta Smith. Similar players, similar trajectories, similar roles within their offense, and I think they're going to land similar contracts here because you look at the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. This is average annual value here. Tyreek Hill, highest paid wideout in the league at $30 million. Devontae Adams is at $28 million. Cooper Kupp, $26.7. A.J. Brown is at $25 million. This is the average annual value, though. We broke down the specifics of that contract, but it averages out to be $25 million per season. DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, tied there at $24 million. Deebo Samuel, just under 24. Then you have Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen rounding out that list. So you look at this list right now, and you factor in how the salary cap is going to continue to rise, how DeVonta Smith figures to get better. If the production increases, who's to say that he's not going to be in that category making $20 to $25 million per year? At least he's probably going to demand that. Now, it is the month of August, and we're in the early going of the month of August, and we're doing a sub-competition to see which channel in the NFC East could pick up the most subscribers here this month because it's the final month of the calendar year prior to the start of the NFL season. So let's beat the Cowboys report, type F Dallas. Let's beat New York Giants now, type FNYG. Let's beat the Commanders report, F Washington. And of course, all day, every day, it's Go Birds all the way until you hit that subscribe button. 10 storylines in training camp for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what we're getting to next here. Storyline number 1. Jalen Hurts has been absolutely flawless up to this point. He's been near perfect. Storyline number 2, the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown connection has been great, dominant. It's one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the NFL. There isn't a defensive back on this roster who's been able to stop it so far, and that's with the Eagles offense going up against Darius Slay and James Bradberry. Story number 3, the Eagles once again appear to be a really good team, but a very deep team. They're deep in positions of importance, and that's a really important thing to have at your advantage if you're looking to compete for a Super Bowl because at some point injuries are probably going to happen. Storyline number 4, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Sidney Brown have all been good. And this is also important for Philadelphia this year, but also looking ahead into the future as well, because if you can continue to stack young talent, it allows you to be competitive for a really long time. And I do see a scenario in which Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Sidney Brown see significant snaps for this team as rookies this upcoming season. Number 5, Dallas Cowboys. He has been a beast. And among all players in yards per target, yards per catch, he's been one of the best in the NFL over the last couple of years. A reason why he's somewhat underrated and overshadowed. A lot of other stars on this team. But also, he is used as a blocker, and he's a very important blocker. Him and George Kittle, two of the best pass-catching and blocking tight ends in the NFL. That's part of what made Rob Gronkowski such a great player. Storyline number 6, the Eagles' defensive line is very, very deep. That starting defensive front, it's a juggernaut. And then the backups are also really good. This allows you to rotate members along that defensive line to keep everybody fresh for a long playoff run at a position in which you have to be physical, and sometimes injuries do happen in the trenches. Storyline number 7, the A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith duo. We talked about Hurts and A.J. Brown, but the A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith duo might be the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Some people might point to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think from an all-around versatile standpoint, Brown and Spinney are better. Story number 8, some concerns here. The Eagles linebackers are one of them. Nakobe Dean hasn't necessarily popped and suffered an injury during Thursday's practice. Nicholas Morrow has struggled in coverage. They're kind of relying on a guy like Christian Ellis to get some first-team snaps, who's a UDFA for a reason. Even though he's made a lot of big plays, you can get away with subpar linebacker play if your defensive line is really good and if your cornerbacks play really good. Eagles defensive line really good. Eagles corners figure to be good. You can hide it a little bit, but going up against teams with really good tight ends, that's when it becomes a little bit of an issue. Storyline number 9. This is something that we're going to continue to monitor here. Will the coordinator inexperience be an issue? Brian Johnson's never called plays at the NFL level before. Great coach, ascending, looked to be a future head coach at some point, but he hasn't called plays. And then Sean Desai has 1 year of defensive coordinator experience. Who's coming up week 1? Bill Belichick. That matchup scares me and is a little bit daunting for those reasons, where you have two inexperienced coordinators going up against arguably the best coach of all time, and they're honoring Tom Brady that night in Foxborough, so the stadium's going to be juiced up. Are the Eagles going to lose that game? I don't believe so. Could it be a dogfight like last year's game against the Lions was, when Detroit ended up being a good team? I think it's going to be a close one, even though the Eagles are far superior to New England. Storyline number 10. Funny shit is happening with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, after leading the league in interceptions last year, continues to throw picks. You had Trevon Diggs say, "Shut your bitch ass up." Mike McCarthy wants to run the football and take the ball out of the hands of Dak Prescott when he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. And this is a team that continues to choke. They don't have depth at a lot of skill positions. And I'm worried about the Dallas Cowboys if I'm a Cowboys fan, because I think they're completely fraudulent. I love it as an Eagles fan, because anytime you could see the Cowboys collapse and fold, that is always music to our ears and a beautiful sight to see. So type F Dallas, like the video, gotta love it. Go Birds all day, every day. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching the show. Rob Townsend with the $5 super chat. Anytime a 5 comes in, America's birthplace, Liberty Bell. We ring the Liberty Bell. Rob Townsend, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. He said, DeAndre Swift is getting me super excited. The day that DeAndre Swift was traded for by the Eagles, I said this guy could be a star in this offense. He led the NFL in yards per touch among running backs last year. His first 3 years, he's been an extremely productive player. He's a better pass catcher than Miles Sanders. This year, a cheaper player than Miles Sanders. And behind this offensive line, with Jalen Hurts in that backfield, given the Eagles' desire to get running backs included in the pass game, he could have a tremendous season here this upcoming year in 2023. So, Rob, I'm totally with you. Totally with you right there. We're up to $12 in super chats here on the show today. John Horan saying F Brady. Dennis Design saying F Dak. Cool Rain saying F Dak as well. Here's Swift's first 3 years. Rob, you sent us in a super chat. We give you great analysis here because that's what we do here on the show. 521, 617, 542 yards for DeAndre Swift his first 3 years. The yards per carry is what you want to focus in on. Now, is he a little bit brittle? Has he been a little bit banged up? Yes, But again, he is a dynamic player, and as Nick Sirianni put it on Thursday, to categorize Swift in one word, he said playmaker. All right, like I said, we're up to $12 in Super Chats. One segment left to get to, and we're going to explain why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a disaster in 2023. You don't want to miss that. First, though, here's our Super Chat menu. You send us in a $5 Super Chat. We'll ring the Liberty Bell. $10, no 10s yet, to get your initials on the lunch pail. You send in a 10, you'll be the first one to do that. $20, a Jason Kelsey beer pour. $50, shotgun or a beer bong. And if we get to $300 in total, which I imagine going to be a little bit difficult at this point, but it's all good, we'll do an extra segment for the people.
Chase, I just have something to say about this lunch pail thing, because our lunch table, it's pretty elite.
Yes.
And I feel like the first 10 people that get their name on the lunch pail get to sit at the lunch table with us.
I like that.
So if you want to sit at the lunch table with us, if you want to chop it up about Jason Kelsey, you want to talk about how bad Dak Prescott is, you know what to do.
How about
Get your name on the lunch pail.
How about we do this? 50% off for 2 minutes here before we get to our Cowboys segment. Anybody who sends in a 5, your initials are going on the metal lunch pail. Think about it. We're a gritty channel here at Chat Sports. Philadelphia is a gritty city, blue-collar city. It's a bring your lunch pail to work type of crew. That's the thought process here. So anybody who sends in a 5, over the next 2 minutes, we're going 50% off. And if we get a 20, I'm doing this beer bat right here. $20 Super Chat, I'm going beer bat here. Trace is saying 50% off all these prices. F it. That's what we're doing here. So I know I said 20, 25 would be 50% off. I'm doing it for 20. So any 5 that comes in over 2 minutes, your name goes on the lunch pail here. You get a gold sticker. You go on the lunch pail. We're going to continue to put names on that lunch pail here.
Facts.
Dennis Designs, I will miss CJ Gardner-Johnson. LFX, there he is.
There we go.
He's at the lunch table.
LFX. Hey, man, could you spot me some tots? I didn't get some in the lunch line. The lunch lady, she gypped me, man.
He's sitting with us at the lunch table.
LFX. First one.
Izzy B.
LFX and Izzle are our first 2 homies at the lunch table.
Who else is sitting at the lunch table with us?
Come on.
We're minute 26 in. Minute 26 in. Who else is sitting at the lunch table and getting on that lunch pail? Dennis Designs, I know that you're tempted. I know that you're tempted, OG. We're at 140. 140 now. 140. Who else is sitting at the lunch table with the pocket aces?
Billy, I know you want to be chopping up. Elijah, I know you want to be sitting at the table with us.
Who wants to be at the lunch table? 5 seconds left, and then we'll give you about a 20-second delay here. 5 seconds left, and then we'll give you about a 20-second delay. Who's sitting at the lunch table with the pocket aces, and who's getting on that lunch pail? 50% off these prices right now. 50% off. Let's get it.
We're cutting them in half. Slashing prices.
Oh! Mellow! You love it, Mello. That's good stuff right there. Jalen Hurts will prove he's a top 2 quarterback in this league. No more second guessing or questions. I love the bold take right there, Mello.
Facts.
Look, I think that going into this year, he's definitely a top 5 quarterback. And last year, if we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes being the best, Jalen Hurts was going step for step, throw for throw, stride for stride with Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. So he can be a top 2 quarterback in this league. Dennis Designs, a $10 Super Chat. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Thank you so much for that, Dennis. So, Trace, pop up that Super Chat menu once again, because I do owe a beer bat here. We're going to do a beer bat here on the show.
Beer bat.
And
beer
then
bat.
Dennis paid for a Jason Kelsey beer pour. So, Trace, I feel like you might have to do the Jason Kelsey beer pour
I'm so in on that. I'm so in on that.
So let's pour up the beer bat. And we'll get Mello and Dennis Also going to go on the lunch pail as well. And what do you know? We're $50 away from 100 in Super Chats. If we get to 100, I'll shotgun a beer. We'll shotgun a beer here on the show if we get to 100. We'll do a little Eagles Now happy hour after this if y'all want. This might be an elite pour with not much foam.
Yeah, everyone's like, it foams up. I'm like, have you ever poured it?
Yeah, you just can't be an amateur. Look at this pour. Look at that pour. That is elite.
Look how small that head is.
That is elite.
We love small heads of foam.
All right, first beer bat here on Eagles Now. Trizzy going to do the Jason Kelsey beer pour. Shout out to everybody watching, supporting the show.
Jug, 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 jug.
That is ice cold. Only thing we're pouring out here is that foam. Let's go. Woo! That is ice. Ice, baby. All right, so Mello and Dennis Designs going on the lunch pail here.
DBK said, did you guys get my super chat? We did not. We did not. Maybe it didn't go through, my man.
Mello and then Dennis.
Dennis Designs. Bang.
All right, so 4 people are at the lunch table with us. Who else wants to hang out?
Who wants to, chop it up? We can share some tots. We can. I'll trade my fruit snacks for an orange slices or something. Let's get crazy. We can make deals.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah, DBK, we did not get your super chat. It did not come in. John Horan, that pour is more elite than the No, but it's close. Yeah,
it is more elite than the Cowboys.
I'm looking here, DBK, and yeah, no super chats are in, brother. No super chats are in. Super chats on today's show: Dennis Designs, Mello TV, Izzy B, Lion Fighter, Rob Townsend, and Losing Hope. Like the bat or the shotgun better, Dennis? Ooh, good question. The shotgun's a little bit easier, I guess. It's quicker, but the beer bat might be more fun. I don't know.
Looks a lot
it's
more
tough to
fun.
say. It's tough to say. All right. We had a lot of people earlier who were using hashtag #FDallas to blast the Cowboys here. And really what I want to do is I'm going to discuss analytics, stats, trends, insight for why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a disaster this year. But if you want your comments making fun of the Cowboys also featured on the show, just use hashtag #FDallas to get on the show. You can literally say whatever you want about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to run through all those comments. Billy the Birdman Bold, we had 100 people watching and went to 64. I think people got hit with the ad, and sometimes when they get hit with the ad, they dip out. But it's all good. The real ones are still here, and we're still going to break down some Eagles football here.
Facts.
Coyote said F Philly. Oh, F Coyote. F Coyote.
Despicable.
Type F Coyote in the chat.
F Dallas.
Oh, Lion Fighter has YouTube Premium. I didn't think about that. Coyote, we appreciate you being here, though. Billy the Birdman Bold. That's fun. All right. Trizzy, let's talk about why the Cowboys are going to be a disaster in 2023. This is actually going to give you good insight on the Cowboys for this year, and obviously Dallas, direct implications in this division with Philadelphia. So it'll allow you to become a more knowledgeable Eagles fan, but also fan of this division as well. You ready to rock here? All right, let's get it, why the Cowboys will be a disaster. So coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, a segment in which we look at why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a disaster in 2023. They figured to be one of the key competitors to Philadelphia in the NFC East, but there are problematic and concerning trends for the Cowboys going into this year, which is why I think that they are going to be a dumpster fire. Number one, Dak Prescott is mid. He's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, and last year, that was fully on display in the regular season and in the playoffs. And really over the last few years, as the Cowboys have paid Dak more money and he's thrown the football more, their offense has taken a step back because I don't think that he's a quarterback who's made and engineered to throw the football and have success by chucking it around the yard 30, 40, 50 times. He led the league in interceptions last year, and up to this point, he's not having a good training camp. And let's be real here. This would never happen for Jalen Hurts. None of Jalen Hurts' defensive teammates would ever go up to him in a practice and say, "Shut your bitch ass up." That's what Trevon Diggs did to Dak Prescott. And that is pretty telling for a couple of reasons. Dak Prescott is not as respected as Jalen Hurts is as a leader, as a player, and there are underlying frustrations that Cowboys players have with Dak because he's getting paid all this money and he's not rising up to the standard of being an elite quarterback in this league. And last year, him throwing the most interceptions in the NFL was a big example of that, but he's continued to come up short in big moments and remind me when Dak Prescott came through in a clutch spot. 66% completion percentage last year, almost 2,900 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 15 picks. Dak Prescott was awful in making good decisions with the football, and he held this offense back, no doubt about it. And I'm not sure that the change in play caller is going to benefit Dak Prescott. Kellen Moore is out. He went to the Los Angeles Chargers after the Cowboys elected to not retain him as their offensive coordinator and play caller. Kellen Moore, I think, is going to do good work with Justin Herbert. Mike McCarthy is going to be calling the plays after Kellen Moore's departure. And according to Sharp Football Analysis, the Cowboys could really miss Mike McCarthy. The loss of Kellen Moore could be significant in the red zone, where Dallas was the best in the league last year. The offense scored a touchdown on 71.4% of red zone trips, and the defense was fifth best, allowing a touchdown on 50% of red zone possessions. The 21.4% red zone differential was the largest in the NFL. And I think that Mike McCarthy calling plays is a step backward for Dallas. He's not as innovative as Kellen Moore is. I think he's a little bit out of touch as an offensive mind. And curiously enough, in an era in which a lot of teams are throwing it a lot, Mike McCarthy wants to run it a lot, with Tony Pollard coming off a bad ankle injury and Ezekiel Elliott not with this team any longer unless they bring him back. Here's what McCarthy had to say about the offense. "I've been where Kellen Moore has been. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. I don't desire to be the number one offense in the league. I want to be the number one team in the league with the number of wins and a championship. And if we got to give up some production and take care of the ball to get better at that, then that's what we'll do." Is Mike McCarthy serious here? Is it 2001 with the Baltimore Ravens with Ray Lewis playing a defensive style of football when Trent Dilfer was their quarterback? What does that also say about Dak Prescott, that Mike McCarthy wants to run it more and throw it less with Dak Prescott? Would he ever say that about Aaron Rodgers? No chance, no how. If you hate the Dallas Cowboys, type F Dallas and like the video right now. This is a team that makes me sick when I see those jerseys. Their fans are so delusional. F Dallas all day, every day. Another key point here is that the schedule gets a lot harder for the Cowboys. Dallas going into 2023 will have the sixth largest jump in schedule difficulty from a year ago. So the Cowboys' opponents are going to get a lot more challenging, and I'm not sure that this team is better than they were last year, which is, of course, a big concern here. And you know, it's not a, to put the words in the mouth of Borat, great success, not a great success, is that the Dallas Cowboys have not been to an NFC Championship game in 28 years. So who's to say that Dallas is going to finally come through in a big spot when they haven't done it for damn near 3 decades, and they have this contract dispute with their best offensive lineman in Zach Martin, and I don't think that their skill position depth is anything to write home about. And I think that Dak Prescott played his best football in replacing Tony Romo when they could run the football a lot with Zeke, and they didn't have to pay him all that money, allowing Dallas to pay some other really good players. You look at the Cowboys wide receiver depth chart here. They did trade for Brandon Cooks, who sneakily has been a very productive player for a really long time. But outside of that, Michael Gallup wasn't the same player last year after that knee injury, and then Jalen Tolbert is their wide receiver 4. The Cowboys here are an injury or two away from not having a good wide receiving crew. And then they also lost Dalton Schultz in NFL free agency. He signed with the Houston Texans, so now they're not investing in that position at all. They're bottom 5 in the NFL in investing at that tight end spot. Jake Ferguson is their number 1 tight end. Who's that? Peyton Hendershot is their number 2 with Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan, the draftee who I actually liked as their tight end number 3. And then they're moving forward here, not with Ezekiel Elliott, but Tony Pollard, who I said last year, Tony Pollard has been the better player as compared to Ezekiel Elliott. But in pass blocking situations and in goal line situations, Ezekiel Elliott's still a pretty productive player. Pollard might be the better running back, but what is the depth here if Pollard goes down? Malik Davis? Deuce Vaughn I really like. He's more of a Darren Sproles type and not an every down, 3 down type of player. Also this is a trend for the Eagles that you have to keep an eye out for when they meet up with Dallas. You get the Cowboys into 3rd down situations. Oftentimes, they are going to fail. Allow me to spit some bars here. What's a good way to stay on the field and extend drives, elongate drives? You avoid 3rd downs. If Mike McCarthy wants to run the ball, Dallas is going to face a lot of 3rd downs. Here's the issue with that, though. Dak threw 15 interceptions last year, 7 of which came on 3rd down. So who's to say that Mike McCarthy is going to look at that and then make the necessary adjustments? I don't think he will. I think this is why the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a disaster this year, and I think this is why Jerry Jones is going to go facepalm once again, and we're going to see another moment in which the Cowboys have an opportunity to rise up, show out in a really big spot, and it's going to result in the Cowboys going home early and having a depressing image like this. Tony Romo in Seattle from several years ago. Eagles Kelly Green jerseys are here, and I sneakily would love to see the Eagles rock these jerseys against the Cowboys. This would be an old school 90s, 80s matchup here. And imagine if the Eagles wore the Kelly Greens for like a color rush game, and then the Cowboys wore those old school blue uniforms. That would be pretty fresh. I'm not going to lie for all the NFC East fans out there. Chatsports.com/Kelly Green. Get your Eagles jerseys right now. So we had a lot of comments coming in. #FDallas. Cool Rains tuned in from Australia. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. The last time you were in the Super Bowl, those draft picks weren't even born. My favorite roast for Dallas, thanks to David Akers. David Akers was roasting the Cowboys a few years ago at the draft. Kind of painful for a kicker to be doing that, but David Akers is kind of an Eagles legend, low-key, high-key, right? And anytime you have an opportunity to roast Dallas, you got to take advantage of that opportunity. John Haran, I was born 3 days after the Cowboys' last Super Bowl win. Safe to say, I was a late pregnancy. Couldn't stand to be in a world where the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Trace, I don't know about you. He might be our commenter MVP just because of the creativity right there. I really like that.
That's elite. That's a great comment from John.
John, good stuff. Let's go to Joseph Daniel here. They will only win the Chunky Soup Bowl. That's good stuff. The creativity is flowing here on the program today. And shout out to Donovan McNabb. Remember Campbell's Soup way back in the day? Him and his mom on all those advertisements. Ernesto! Dallas will never win a Super Bowl, but Dak throwing so many picks, they will never be better than the Eagles. Funny enough, we're roasting the Cowboys here. You also have to be truthful in saying Dak Prescott has actually had a lot of success against Philadelphia. But as Jalen Hurts makes progress, as he gets better, I think that the Eagles, they can run this division for a long time. And finally, there could be a repeat division winner for the first time since, 2004? So type F Dallas, like the video. Hope you all enjoyed today's style of show, as well as the content in it. And thanks for supporting us here on Eagles Now, F the Cowboys. All right. Fun segment there to round out the show. Just needed to go in on Dallas. That's all we needed to do. Sharp football analysis with some really good numbers there. John Horan, appreciate you guys.
If you want to keep it going, we can.
Yeah, Coyote saying thanks, guys. Dennis Design saying repeat. As division winners, let's effing go. Cool Rain saying F Dallas. You already know the deal. Coyote saying thanks, guys. First and second down should be better without Moore's play calls. I don't know. We talked about the loss of Kellen Moore there in the show. Let's just go regular Super Chat menu here, Trace. Let's do this. 3 segments, all of which I thought were really, really solid. Hope you all agree with me there. We're going to go 2-minute Super Chat shot clock. We're down to hang out for a little Eagles Now happy hour. So Trace is actually going to put up the clock on the screen. But just looking at my noties here.
All right, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. If anybody sends in a super chat, we extend the show. If not, we sign off. We dip on out of here. We are at $62 in super chats. If somehow we get to 300, we will do an extra segment here on the show. I did say earlier, too, if we got to $100 in super chats, I'll shotgun a beer or I'll do another beer bat. Whoever gets us there, it's your choice for what we do if we do end up getting there. Dennis Design, send another 10. Did you miss it? Let's get to that 10 from Dennis Designs.
Yep, there it is.
And he's already on the lunch pail. Oh, Dennis Designs. How about this? We get to 100. Beer bat or a shotgun, and no one likes us. We don't care. So let's do that. So we reset the shot clock with Dennis Designs' $10 super chat. We appreciate you, brother. Your name already going on the lunch pail. If you want to donate somebody to go on the lunch pail, Dennis, just let us know in the comment section here, and we'll get their name to go on the lunch pail. But here's our super chat menu here. $5, ring the Liberty Bell. 10, we'll sign the lunch pail for you. $20, a Jason Kelsey beer pour. 50, shotgun beer bunk or a beer bat. And if we get to $300 in total, an extra segment here on the show.
Y'all definitely hate the Cowboys, so shout out y'all. Everyone hates the Cowboys. Honestly,
Dennis, who do you want on there? Brazzy Smacks. He's back in the chat.
Brazzy! Are there any people who actually like the Cowboys outside of Cowboys fans?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, they're just the worst. Their fans are the worst too. Very annoying. Yeah, Dennis, let us know if you want to put somebody on here.
1 minute left on the shot clock.
1 minute left on the
remaining.
super chat shot clock. You send in a super, we stay live. If not, we out ya. Yeah, Billy, I like the profile picture. We'll pop it up on the show. Callie Green, the star is a rating. 1 star. That's good stuff, man. Everybody's bringing the creativity here in the chat. You'd love to see it, man. All right, 20 seconds left on the super chat shot clock.
Who wants to keep us live? Who wants to keep us live?
Billy the Birdman Bolton. Oh! Dennis Designs. Dennis Designs. Dennis Designs. Dennis Designs.
With 3 seconds left.
With 3 seconds left on the shot clock, you see the digits down below us. And we're up to $82 in super chats. Can we get to 100 here on the show? Can we get to 100? Shotgun or beer bat, whatever the person who gets us over that threshold wants me to do, that's what I'll do. Dennis Designs, once again, one of our super chat MVPs. He's asking for no one likes us. We don't care. We'll do that for Dennis. Here's Billy the Birdman Bolton getting loosed up in that batter circle, getting ready to hit bombs right here. He's trying to go, Yahtzee!
Dingers only.
Out of the ballpark.
Dingers only, Billy.
No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're the Eagles, the fucking Eagles. No one likes us. We don't care. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. There you go. That's right there for Dennis. Dennis Designs. You are the man. Thank you, brother. Callie Green, the music emojis. Bird Gang Tommy V in the building. Smitty is here.
Smitty!
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 Maisie throwing some shade toward the Cowboys. You love it. Jerry Jones, my favorite Eagles player, always knows how to keep Dallas down.
Facts.
I'd say today is one of the most creative days for all of the comments that we've gotten today. That's good stuff right there. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Can we get to $100 in Super Chats? We're 19 away.
4, 3, 2, 1.
We'll give you about a 20-second delay. If not, signing off. Our Super Chat menu here. We have 4 names on the lunch pail already. LFX, Izzy, Mello, and Dennis Designs.
Mello.
Does anybody else want to come at the lunch table with us?
Giggity.
That's good stuff. F. Jerry Jones from Dennis.
F. Jerry.
Facts. How about this? Before we get out of here, I'll give y'all one more opportunity to get on that lunch pail. We're going to go 1 minute, $5 Super Chat. Anybody who sends in a 5, you're going on the lunch pail. So 1 minute, anybody who sends in a 5, you're going on the lunch pail. And we're going to start that right now.
Let's go. Come on.
Come on, rapid fire.
Come on. Sit with us at lunch.
Callie Green saying football today. Football tonight. Browns, Jets. I'll be watching. Are you?
I'll be working.
Dennis Designs tapped out for now. Oh,
Brazzy!
good. Brazzy smacks! Go Birds! Let's go, Brazzies!
And he is a first
Time
Super Chatter!
Let's go! Brazzy smacks!
Let's go, Brazzy.
We're 14 away from 100. We get there. Shotgun and a beer. Can we get there? Brazzy smacks going on the lunch pail.
Boom! Brazzy, what you bringing to lunch today? You bringing a sandwich? Did Mama make you some lasagna? You bringing meatloaf? What you got for lunch today, bro?
Here we go. We've got all the new names that are going on the lunch pail here. All those names going on the lunch pail.
Let's go.
John, thank you so much for that compliment. Thomas is doing a great job with his YouTube channel, man. It's a different style than what we do. But he's doing a great job, man. But appreciate the compliment. Who's your picks? First, second, third, fourth placement in the division? Ooh, I like that. Let's go Eagles 1, Giants 2, Cowboys 3, Commanders 4.
I like it.
Let's do that.
I like it.
Let's do that. Are we about to sign off?
No, not yet.
I don't want to sign off.
I don't want to work.
I don't want to work. I want to talk to the Bird Gang.
I don't want to have to do work.
Oh,
I like
man.
talking about Jalen Hurts.
That was a fun show today, man. Fun show today. Can you imagine how crazy it gets once the regular season is here? It's going to be a blast. All right, Super Chat shot clock has expired. We're going to dip out here on Eagles Now. This is why you should subscribe. Daily shows on the Birds, training camp reactions, news, rumors, and analysis, live shows every week, and watch parties are back starting next weekend. Eagles, Ravens, going to have an opportunity to take a look at some of these depth pieces on Philadelphia's roster. This has been Eagles Now. For Trace, I'm Chase and the entire Bird Gang. We'll catch you next time here on the show. Peace.